Hey everybody, John the Other here. The following is a reading of The Hero Trap. You are a hero, and that's your problem. That probably needs a bit more exposition, so this article will have to be longer than 8 words. Okay. You're not the Man of Steel. You are not more powerful than a locomotive. You're not faster than a speeding bullet. You don't have super hearing or super strength. You've never leapt over a tall building in a single bound. You also cannot fly, except in a straight line towards the ground, once. Nonetheless, you are a hero, and that's why you're screwed. Your heroism isn't in the capital letter insignia of a cape-wearing man in red and blue tights. Your heroics are written lowercase. You might sit in a car in gridlocked traffic for hours each day just to get to the job you work to pay for her house, groceries, and lifestyle. And don't let your name on the mortgage confuse you. That's her house. This is part of what makes you a hero. And that commute of yours is heroic too, by the way. Now, despite your modest heroism, you have all the super qualities of that capital S emblazoned comic book myth. You weather abuse and indifference to your own pain, with almost the noble silence of a Kryptonian. You routinely put your own needs after the needs of those you serve. And if you imagine that this deal is reciprocal, then you are in error. But your service and self-sacrifice does have one benefit. You get the provisional public identity of a real man, so long as you don't rock the boat, because Superman doesn't complain about the burdens of being Superman. Of course, Superman is an imaginary character from a comic book. By contrast, you are a real person. The fact that you are an actual man living in the real world is, of course, why your day-to-day heroic qualities are small. A real man can't compete with an imaginary fellow who flies and deflects bullets. But Superman doesn't exist. At least, he exists only as an imaginary heroic figure to put your small h heroism into his shadow, and your sacrifices of comfort, of your health, of your own needs behind the needs of those you serve comprise your real-world modeling of the hero archetype. Why are so many men driven from their own homes to a basement or a garage? If modern transportation still used horses, you'd be sleeping in the stable rather than the main house. It's not that you are exactly banished, rather you have banished yourself in a bizarre gesture of self-sacrifice. How stoic of you. It's only too bad that a cape is no longer in modern fashion. And after your important bills are paid, what fraction of your disposable income do you spend on yourself, and what fraction on those you serve? The sacrifices made daily by men on behalf of others, viewed only as positive masculinity, are small-scale heroism. Compared to the idealized hero, your heroic character is small and unimpressive. Next to Superman, or Hercules, or some other legendary figure, you will always be inadequate. You are not Friedrich Nietzsche's Übermensch, nor are you a member of the DC Comics Justice League. He, that super guy, is the pure, idealized image of what you cannot be. You are not an indestructible strongman from outer space, but he doesn't need his basic humanity recognized. He doesn't need his pain or his fatigue accommodated. He doesn't feel fatigue. He doesn't have human needs, and he will never fail in being a hero because he is imaginary while you are real. But you have been conned. You have been sold a bill of goods. You have bought into the hero identity. You work hard to maintain your conferred identity as a good man, which is the small-scale writing of the word hero. That's what keeps you in your service role. It's what keeps you working for someone else's dreams rather than your own. It's what makes you believe that someone else's goals are actually your own. But Superman lives a life of never-ending errands. And they're not errands for himself. He runs from urgent task to urgent task for others. Just imagine your own job and the tasks that your boss puts on your desk. Now imagine that each one came with a label: priority, urgent. All tasks, top priority, urgent. You cannot prioritize those tasks because you're just an employee taking orders. To be Superman is to be a slave. So why do you still esteem the conferred identity of good man or real man? Are you so foolish and weak-minded that you see no other possibility for yourself? It's obviously not quite so simple as that. Departure from the assigned role of hero comes at a great cost in pain. When Dr. Warren Farrell spoke in Toronto in 2012 about the problems facing boys in the education system, conformists and authoritarians showed up to chant, "Shame! Dare you consider men or boys as anything except service automatons who have unaddressed needs? Well, shame, shame on you." And when a crowd of 60 or so shouts at you, it is withering, even if you are following your conscience. No coherent reason is offered other than you have deviated from your assigned service role. The word shame is the revocation of your good man, dues paid in full card. And it works to put you back into the harness, because in your life you have unconsciously modeled the hero archetype. But what are you going to do with this knowledge? The concept, possibly new to you, that you have modeled the hero archetype for your entire life. Heroism is a mental trap, making your human worth dependent on conformity to a destructive ethos of your self-abasement. It's not enough to recognize your own modeling of the hero archetype and the blockage that it creates for your self-determination. Human beings are social animals, and we live in a world of created meaning. We don't just live in a world of concrete survival challenges on which we can focus. We live in the context of a human-created social reality. So, how does a man exist without a model for himself in that world of symbolic meaning? The answer is, he doesn't. Having value within a world of meaning, which is to say, having social value, is a basic human need. The most obvious answer for men is to reject the hero archetype and to select an alternative. One possibility is to replace the superhero with the supervillain. The supervillain is not affected by consensus of public opinion on his status as a good man. He is not controlled by disapproval. But whatever model we do choose, it should be based on the recognition of heroism as a scam and a tool of control to be dumped by anybody who seeks self-determination.